In the depths of a vast forest lived a hedgehog named Spike. Spike's home was nestled beneath a giant oak tree, surrounded by a lush green meadow filled with wildflowers and small insects. Every day, sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a warm glow over Spike's little home, making him feel the beauty of nature. Yet, despite the safety and comfort of the forest, there was a constant curiosity in Spike's heart. He always wondered what lay beyond the familiar woods. What could be out there in the world he had never ventured into? What surprises and adventures awaited him beyond the forest's edge? Spike wasn't the only creature living in the forest. There were other animals nearby, like the clever squirrel Lulu, the swift bluebird Flit, and the slow but wise old tortoise, Grandpa Talk. They all led their own lives, occasionally crossing paths to chat about the weather, food, or the latest happenings in the forest. But whenever Spike mentioned his desire to explore the world beyond the woods, his friends didn't share his enthusiasm. "The outside world is full of danger," Lulu said seriously. "We have plenty of food and a cozy home here. Why risk it all for an adventure?" Flit agreed, "Yeah, there could be fierce animals and unfamiliar places out there. Why leave the safety of the forest?" Despite their warnings, Spike's curiosity never faded. He felt that his world was too small and that he had to leave the forest to find the adventure he longed for. One evening, as the sky glittered with stars and the moonlight bathed the entire forest in silver, Spike finally made up his mind. He decided to leave the familiar woods and explore the unknown world beyond. Packing a small bundle of food, Spike quietly set off on his journey under the cover of night. Walking along the forest paths, Spike felt both excited and nervous. The trees whispered in the wind, and the night seemed full of mystery and uncertainty. But Spike knew this was the adventure he had always wanted. Along the way, he encountered various insects and nocturnal creatures, some eyeing him curiously, while others quickly hid, not wanting to be disturbed. After walking for several hours, Spike noticed that the scenery around him was becoming unfamiliar. The trees were taller, and the grass was thicker. Suddenly, he heard a rustling noise coming from the bushes nearby. Instinctively, Spike raised the quills on his back, ready to defend himself against any potential danger. Out from the bushes stepped a friendly-looking fox. This fox had bright, sparkling eyes and a bushy tail. When he saw Spike, he smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. My name is Blaze. I live near the edge of this forest. Who are you, and what brings you here?" Spike relaxed and replied kindly, "Hello, I'm Spike. I live on the other side of the forest, and I've come to explore the world beyond the woods." Blaze's eyes glimmered with admiration. "I see. The world outside the forest is indeed fascinating, but it can also be dangerous. You'll need a guide. Luckily, I can help you." Spike was thrilled that someone was willing to accompany him on his adventure and gladly accepted Blaze's offer. So, the two animals set off together, beginning their true adventure. They traversed towering trees, crossed winding streams, and along the way, witnessed many sights Spike had never seen before in his familiar forest. Blaze seemed to know every inch of this forest and not only helped Spike avoid several dangerous traps but also introduced him to secret spots hidden deep in the woods. As Spike let go of his initial anxiety, he began to fully immerse himself in the wonders of the journey, savoring each new experience. One day, they reached a wide, open meadow, and in the distance, towering mountains loomed, their peaks covered in gleaming white snow. Spike had never seen such a magnificent sight before and couldn't help but exclaim, "Wow! This is the adventure I've been dreaming of. We have to get closer." Blaze nodded in agreement, and they set off toward the mountains. However, as they approached, the temperature began to drop, and the wind became stronger. Spike noticed that while the scenery was breathtaking, the environment was becoming harsher. His short legs started to tire, and the quills on his back stiffened in the cold. Just as Spike began to doubt whether he could complete the journey, Blaze pointed to a nearby cave and said, "Let's take shelter in that cave. It looks safe." Once inside the cave, they were immediately shielded from the biting wind. The cave was dark but warm enough to give them a chance to rest. Spike leaned against the stone wall, feeling a wave of exhaustion wash over him. He began to wonder if he was truly capable of completing such a challenging adventure. Sensing Spike's doubts, Blaze spoke softly, "Adventure is never easy. There will always be challenges, and sometimes you'll want to give up. But if you remember why you started and keep going, you'll overcome anything." Spike took a deep breath, inspired by Blaze's words. He remembered why he had set out on this journey in the first place, to discover a bigger world and test his courage. Gathering his resolve, he said to Blaze, "You're right. I can't give up so easily. Let's keep going." The next morning, the weather cleared up a bit, and Spike and Blaze resumed their trek toward the mountain peak. As they climbed higher, the landscape became more and more breathtaking. They could see the distant forest, the winding rivers, and even the clouds swirling beneath them. After a long and challenging ascent, they finally reached the summit. Standing at the top, Spike felt as though he could touch the sky itself, and his heart swelled with pride and accomplishment. Just then, Spike heard a deep, gentle voice behind him. "You are brave, little ones." Spike and Blaze turned around to find a massive eagle standing nearby. The eagle's body was large and powerful, with silver feathers that shimmered in the sunlight, and its eyes were full of ancient wisdom. "I am Silverwing, the guardian of this mountain," the eagle said. "For many years, animals have tried to reach the top of this mountain, but few have made it this far. Tell me, why did you want to climb all the way up here?" Spike hesitated for a moment, then answered truthfully, "I've always lived in the forest, but I felt like there's so much more out there. I wanted to explore the world beyond my home and see if I could go farther than I ever have before." Silverwing nodded, a glimmer of approval in his eyes. "Your courage has brought you here, and the view from this peak belongs to those who are bold enough to pursue their dreams." Hearing this, Spike felt a warm surge of pride in his heart. He realized that this adventure had been about more than just seeing new sights. It had been about discovering his own courage and potential. From the nervous, uncertain hedgehog who had left the familiar forest, he had now become more confident and strong, having faced challenges he had never imagined. After resting for a while at the summit, Spike and Blaze began their descent. Though the journey down was still full of challenges, Spike no longer felt fear or hesitation. He had learned that no matter how difficult the path ahead might be, as long as he had courage in his heart, he could find a way through. When they finally returned to the forest, Spike had completely transformed. He was no longer just the little hedgehog who lived quietly under the oak tree, but a true adventurer who had braved the unknown and discovered his inner strength. Back home, Spike received a warm welcome from his friends. Lulu, Flit, and Grandpa Talk all listened in awe as he recounted his adventure. Though they had once been afraid of the world outside the forest, Spike's story made them rethink the meaning of exploration and adventure. In the days that followed, Spike returned to his peaceful life, but whenever he stood under the oak tree and gazed toward the horizon, a spark of longing for the unknown would rise in his heart. He knew that one day, he would set out again, seeking new landscapes, facing new challenges, and becoming an even braver adventurer. And so ends Spike's story, the tale of a brave hedgehog who set out on an adventure, discovering courage, wisdom, and friendship along the way. In the end, Spike realized that true adventure isn't just about reaching a destination but about becoming a better version of oneself on the journey. Do you still like today's story? If you like, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like icon. You can receive notifications and hear the latest stories as soon as possible. Good night, my baby.